With me in the studio tonight is Ambassador K P Fabian, his former Joint Secretary Gulf. He was the man coordinating this from Delhi at that time, the evacuation of Indian nationals from Iraq and Kuwait in 1991. Ambassador K Gajendra Singh, I think he was in Amman at that time, if I'm not mistaken, Ambassador. So you're more than well acquainted and have a personal experience of what happened. Welcome. Ambassador Harish Dogra was then former Joint Secretary of the Special Co-ordination Unit in charge of Kuwait Evacuation. Ambassador Dogra, can you hear me? Welcome to the program. To those on one side tonight, I now want to introduce those on the other side in this debate. And that is, first of all, Ashoke Pandit is a filmmaker and social activist. There's Mayank Shekhar, who's a film critic. And Raja Krishna Menon, a filmmaker and director of Airlift, which first of all has done phenomenally well. So Raja, in your directorial effort, it has been very successful and you deserve to be congratulated for that. Well done.
Thank you.
The problem is that Raja, in the course of making your film, you have upset people and you are being accused of the very serious charge of misrepresentation of fact. So before you make your opening remarks, I want Ambassador K P Fabian to tell you directly why he feels you are guilty of misrepresenting facts as far as the Ministry of External Affairs and the Government of India is concerned. Ambassador K P Fabian, your opening remarks, and Raja will then respond. Then it's open debate after that. Go ahead, Ambassador.
Thank you, Arnab. I saw the film, I enjoyed it, and I want to congratulate the director.
Thank you, Mr. Fabian. Thank you so much.
But I was also bewildered because, as Arnab, you said, it claimed that it was based on real events.
Right.
Now, my problem, I'm trying to understand, and I shall be glad to be corrected. You see, it's all right for the director to have full freedom in portraying a fictional character like Kathyal.
Right.
But he cannot have the same freedom in portraying Ministry of External Affairs, which is not a fictional character, real people.
Okay.
So, and there he was not fair, and he also did not, I don't know whether I should ask him, did he ever get in touch with the Ministry of External Affairs? And another thing is that you take the case of the External Affairs Minister, how he is portrayed. As you know, Amb Gujral was the minister, and we know how intensely he was involved in it. I went with him to Kuwait, and I tell you, Arnab, our embassy told us, sir, told the minister, there are 4,000 Indians waiting outside at a distance. Don't go there, they're waiting for you, they might be very angry they are angry with you. So, but Gujral consulted us, that is my boss, IP Khosla, Ambassador Khosla, he was Additional Secretary, I was Joint Secretary, and we decided that we should go there.
Right.
And we went there, and Gujral, who was about 70 at that time, there was no podium. We managed to get a chair, then he got into the bonnet of the jeep, and within 4 minutes, this angry crowd was made to say,
I.K. Gujral, the minister, stood on the bonnet of the jeep addressing the crowd.
And made them say Bharat Mata Ki Jai in 3-4 minutes. That was the man who was involved in it. And then comes Kathyal, who tries to get in touch with the External Affairs Ministry, and he's a very smart person. But he gets hold of a Joint Secretary Kohli, who is not Joint Secretary Gulf. And Kohli says that he would, right at the beginning.
You think that's a portrayal of you?
No, I don't think so.
I'll tell you. Your portrayal?
No. He says that Kohli is not Joint Secretary Gulf.
Okay.
Kohli says, but he would ask the Joint Secretary Gulf to get in touch with Kathyal.
Right.
But what is bewildering, I use the expression very carefully, because throughout the film, same Kohli is dealing with the matter with Kathyal. In other words, Kathyal never succeeded in getting in touch with the Joint Secretary Gulf, whereas many Indians in Kuwait were constantly in touch with me, the Joint Secretary Gulf. So I don't know why.
So 1 second. So there is Raja Menon on your screen. You can talk to him directly, sir. I like direct conversations when they happen on the program. I would only say this, and I'm not provoking you to say this. If you feel so, you tell Raja and he'll respond to you. That what you're saying is that in the course of building this superhero, Akshay Kumar, the Indian superhero, you have created a superhero by making someone else out to be a villain. Or if not, presenting them in a slightly negative light. Is that what I understand you say, or would you like to say it in your own words to Raja?
No.
Tell Raja directly, so he'll respond. Yeah.
I have explained to Mr. Menon how I got bewildered. Let him explain now.
Okay. The ball is in your court, Raja.
First of all, Mr. Fabian, let me congratulate you on what all of you achieved. Without all of you, I wouldn't have the story to tell about the greatest evacuation that the Indian government managed to bring back 170,000 people who were stuck in Kuwait. that story itself is largely due to what all of you managed to do. Secondly, let me say that there's absolutely no reason for me to belittle anyone's achievements in this process or portray anyone negatively, because the film is not about what the MEA did and how they brought people back. The film is about what happened in Kuwait and how the Kuwaiti people who were stuck there were taken care of by a group of businessmen who I have then fictionalized into one character. Okay? In that process, we cannot deny for 1 second the truth, which is the last part of it, which an evacuation took place and 170,000 people were brought back, 488 flights were flown into a war zone, and all of that. To me, I think what's important here is to celebrate what India achieved. There will be differences. The film starts with a disclaimer saying that not everything is true. I've fictionalized things, and there is no character assassination in this film at all. The idea is to tell India a story that has been hidden for 25 years. Nobody knows about this story. That is the aim of the film. So if we look at it...
You're getting a counter, Raja. This debate is going to be interesting.
Sure.
The question is right now that there's a representation, and once this part of the debate is open, I'm going to open this up.
Yeah.
But the question was, what is being presented is that the Indian government was reluctant initially, when on the contrary, what Ambassador Fabian is saying is that the Indian government did exactly the opposite.
Why were 4,000 people angry when Mr. Gujral went there? If they were
okay, he throws the ball back to your court. Okay, we're getting a response. I think it's from Ambassador Dogra, or is it Ambassador Gajendra Singh? Go ahead. No, let's allow a rebut on the other side. Let the debate open up. I'm going to come back to you. Yes, sir. Go ahead. I see your hand go up there. I see two hands go up. Either of you can start. Go ahead, sir. Who will go first? Ambassador Gajendra Singh or Ambassador Dogra?
Well, let me begin. Ambassador Gajendra I was the ambassador in Amman, Jordan from August 90 to later on till this whole thing was over. The number of Indians in Kuwait was supposed to be around 170,000 or so, out of which 150,000 people came to Amman in Jordan, and they were sent to India by 425 flights and almost 100 IOM flights.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Joint Secretary Fabian is taking too much of credit what he did there. They did very little. In fact, he came with one of the ministers and they made the life miserable, and it's very embarrassing. You know, after the whole thing was over, then the Indians in Kuwait called me and held a resolution condemning the behavior of the Indian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and some of the ministers. It is all on the record. So I was there who organized the airlifting of 150,000 Indians from Amman to Bombay. Then let us be very clear on this.
So what is your view on the film?
I have not seen the same, because it must be like typical Hollywood film. But I am telling you the fact, and people are wrong kind of people are taking credit.
Okay, Ambassador Dogra was then former Joint Secretary of the Special Co-ordination Unit.
What did he do?
Okay, well, now this is.
You know
I don't want this to be a quarrel between two ex-diplomats.
What they were doing, there were 20,000 passports, and they'll give a list of 20 and say, these people are from my constituency. Take out these 20 passports, put them in the flight first of all. These are are the kind of things.
We had only...
The foreign secretary at that time, Mr. Vichkun, he did not telephone me once.
We tried to portray what we got because there weren't any documented facts. We portrayed what we got from what people told us. But at no point, I don't think there's any point where we've actually asked anyone or tried to portray that the Indian government didn't do anything. I'm actually surprised the conversation is about that at all.
To take credit, or for Mr. Fabian for that matter. He was only one of the joint secretaries, which is one Mr. Dogra and Mr. Pitpuran Singh, who were really in charge
does
of
this film... Okay. Let's not move away from the subject. You know, which diplomat did how much is not the subject today. The debate is that you've had the Ministry of External Affairs put out a statement. And the statement seems to indicate that it takes some objection to the film. Ashoke Pandit, before you come into the debate, let's get Ambassador Dogra's version.
Arnab, I don't think it says that, actually.
No, 1 second. See, Raja, I have not seen this film. I'm aware of what the MEA said.
I'm saying the statement is not that it takes objection to the film. It says that there's creative liberties taken.
The statement talks about the creative liberties taken in the film.
Yeah.
And it says so because they say this is a film that is
creative liberties in the film.
Okay. Now, this was a film that was based on true events, as your trailers, as your teasers routinely claim.
Yes.
So the argument can be, just bear with me, Raja. The argument can be, and on that I want to get Ambassador Dogra and then we open it up, that the audience is looking out not for a pure work of fiction around a true event. Your promos say this is a story that should do some justice to the historical facts
and it does.
And the reality of what happened.
And it
now,
does.
Ambassador Dogra.
Arnab, I want to say, begin by saying one thing. In the film, it is shown that the ministry was not paying any attention to this problem. This is totally incorrect. The invasion of Kuwait took place on 2nd of October. On the 5th or 6th of August, I was appointed as Joint Secretary Special Coordination to deal with this problems arising from this invasion. Now, 5th or 6th, at this time, contrary to what the film shows, there was no telephone communication with Kuwait.
That is true.
Actually, we had the entire operation, during the entire operation with Kuwait, we were on a ham radio with the Indian embassy personnel who were there in Kuwait, and then passing on the same information to Ambassador Gajendra Singh for arranging the airlift from the other end. Because it took 2 days for the people to travel from Kuwait to Amman. So that's one thing. Second thing, when you say that Ranjit Katyal himself single-handedly carried out the evacuation, that is just not possible.
I haven't said that actually. I haven't said that, Ambassador. I've never said that.
The Indian
Ambassador, he says he hasn't said that.
I haven't said that. I very
Ambassador Dogra.
Somebody else did it.
Ambassador Dogra. Now see, I have not seen the film, but Raja Menon, the maker of the film, says he hasn't said that.
Can you hear me?
He says.
Can you hear me,
Ambassador, hear him. Ambassador, hear Raja, please.
Yeah.
He's saying something to you.
I have clearly mentioned always in every single communication before this that Ranjit Katyal is a fictitious character and he's an amalgamation of a group of people who helped evacuate who were based in Kuwait. I haven't said he single-handedly did it. Also, the second hero in the film is an MEA official called Sanjeev Kohli, who's fictitious, who represents the bureaucracy and the incredible stuff that they did, the incredible work they did to achieve this. To me, I think that instead of focusing on the bigger picture, which is that India did this phenomenal thing and we should be proud of it, I think we're focusing on the wrong things.
Ambassador Dogra.
Sanjeev Kohli does in fact exist. Sanjeev Kohli was a probationer.
No, he does not exist. I wrote the character. He does not exist.
Not the Joint Secretary at headquarters because he was too junior at that time.
No, sir. I'm saying this is my film, so I'm telling you what I did. There is no Sanjeev Kohli, he's a fictitious character. I don't know if he existed. There's probably somebody called Sanjeev Kohli, but he's not who's represented in the film.
There was JSOI, Paripurn Singh, and myself as JS Coordination. And it is these two persons who are actually responsible for the logistics of the whole operation.
Listen, Raja. Now listen, Raja. The difficulty is I have not seen this film. If you notice tonight, I'm not taking a clear position on this, which is unusual because I haven't seen the film. But I've been told.
Yeah.
So this is anecdotal, okay? Mayank has seen the film and Ashoke Pandit has his hand up to support you for some time in this debate. But I've been told, Mayank, that in this film, Raja has shown that the Indian official in the Baghdad assembly doesn't do much more apart from offering Akshay Kumar a biscuit, when in fact Kamal Bakshi, the then Indian ambassador to Iraq, facilitated Saddam's meeting with Gujral, which paved the way for negotiations.
Okay, first of all, he's not the
evacuation.
ambassador. The officer has shown is an officer in the embassy, and he's a fictitious character in that embassy.
Come on now, Raja, you're hiding behind this fictitious... Come on, Raja, you're hiding behind this fictitious argument a bit too much. No. You see,
it is fictitious. It's the truth. You can say
but you
for
can't
argument's
decide
sake,
now.
You can say what you want.
Now,
the scene
for
is written in
argument's
order.
sake.
The scene
Okay,
was
so
written
for
in order
argument's
to bring
sake,
about,
if you want to argue,
Raja,
let's argue this.
The point
let's argue this.
The point that scene was trying
Raja,
to make
let's argue this.
was that the MEA had a valid reason to be worried about giving out temporary passports to people. That is why the scene was written.
Now listen, Raja. I'll throw another example to you. And this is aimed at provoking Mayank Shekhar. Right? Now the point is, Mayank, this fictitious argument is a convenient argument. First of all, I began by saying it's obviously a great film. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here debating it. I haven't seen the Ministry of Foreign External Affairs respond to any film in the past. This obviously generated some controversy. But Mayank, I know you may be supporting Raja heart of heart. But would Steven Spielberg not have come in for criticism had he played down the role of Schindler in the rescue of Jews in Schindler's List? Similarly, since this movie is titled Airlift, can the Indian government's role be downplayed, as the argument has been done in the course of this film? You know what I'm saying? Would the makers of the film Raid on Entebbe not have come in for criticism had they played down the role of the Israeli political establishment in planning a military operation to get Jewish hostages out of Uganda after their plane was hijacked? So when you make films which are set in a certain context and you promote the film as having been set in a certain historical context, you have to be largely true to the events. Otherwise, what you're doing is you're cannibalizing a historical context in the course of creating a script for a film that is then released on Republic Day and invokes a sense of patriotism.
I disagree.
You know what I mean? I'm expanding the course of this debate, Mayank.
I'll wait for Mayank.
Okay, Mayank.
I don't think that's what these guys are trying to do, Arnab. I think one has to bear a couple of things. One has to bear a couple of things in mind. One, as the ambassador said before, the lead character itself is fictional, but you can't show somebody who's actually in the MEA any differently. But then, in that case, you can have a problem with 50 years of James Bond, and if the MI6,
this is not a James
the
Bond.
head is that person or not, or is she making a fool of herself or not? So that's a separate
James
part.
Bond.
Second, this is
James
a film
Bond films
that
don't
claims
begin by
to
saying that in the
inspire
year this so and so happened. This is an event from inspired by real events. No James Bond film said it's inspired by real events.
Very well they do. Very well they do. They say it's Cold War and this is really what happened and this is James Bond.
That's a very generic reference compared to the specific one in this case.
By true event, which it is. Arnab, let me finish my point, Arnab. They're saying so what is the truth of that particular event? The fact that 172,000 people were evacuated, and that's recorded in history as the biggest evacuation that we've ever had. Now that is true. Now which story are they chasing? The story that they're chasing is not of the MEA, or is not of the government of India, is not of the Air India itself. They're chasing the story of how 172,000 people can come together in the first place to be able to ship out of Kuwait, and they went to Amman eventually. And I think that part of the story is really the focus of that film.
It's about the facts. Now,
even if you were supposed to look at it from the MEA's point of view, no, it is not about the facts. This is not a documentary.
It is about the facts.
It's not a documentary, Arnab. It's not a documentary.
What aspect of a story inspired by real event are you focused on?
Okay. Ambassador Fabian, debate is open. 15 minutes left on the debate. Ambassador Fabian is responding. I'm coming back to you, Raja.
Ambassador Fabian. That's not fact.
Ambassador Fabian, after that we come back to you and Ashoke Pandit. Please, 1 minute. 1 minute. Ambassador Fabian, Ambassador Fabian and then Ashoke Pandit. Ambassador Fabian's turn, please.
Air India did a fabulous job of lifting these people from Amman. And later on, the Air India's managing director, managers came to Amman and thanked all the Air India people who were posted there, who were sort of flowing out these people from Amman to Bombay.
Point taken. But on the question of artistic liberty, Ambassador Fabian's coming back on the debate. Go ahead.
Thank you, Arnab. First of all, I don't want to take any credit, so let's not waste time in taking credit or.
That's not the point
leave
of the
it out.
debate.
It's unimportant.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I should thank Mr. Menon for raising an important question, and that is, why was the delay? After all, the invasion occurred on the 2nd of August, and Foreign Minister Gujral reached there only by 13th or 14th. Yeah. So there was a delay. But let me explain.
Mr. Fabian, my question was not why is there a delay. I'm not asking that question at all. I'm not asking why there. I understand there will be a delay. It's a huge operation. I understand. That's not my question.
No. Let me explain to you why there was delay. Not because it was a huge operation. And it is important because this has been discussed by many people. Some of the viewers, especially the young people, they asked me. Now, the delay was because we, in the External Affairs Ministry, we wanted to see whether there could be a diplomatic resolution of the crisis. Saddam Hussein walked into Kuwait, and we wanted to get him out by talking to him. And for that purpose, we worked with King Hussein of Jordan, the father of the present, and Algeria.
No, but what's your objection with the film? Raja's argument is it's fictional.
I know, I'll come in.
He's saying you're protesting too much.
My point
he's saying you're protesting too much. Yes, Raja. No, Raja saying something.
This story not come out at all and not tell anyone. For 25 years, no one has told the story of the greatest evacuation that this country has managed to orchestrate. So yes, there are going to be. It's a I have 2 hours to tell a film. So I am going to be concise.
Okay, we have a count.
As soon as Saddam Hussein entered Kuwait, all the neighboring countries closed their border.
Yes, sir.
Except Jordan.
Yes, sir.
There was no way out except to do it from Jordan.
I take, but we are digressing. We are talking about representation. I'll come back to you. Now, 1 second. Ashoke Pandit, your hand's been up there, and we have limited time, so we're going to come back to you. Ashok Pandit, look here. I'm not, as I said, I haven't seen this film, but I'm told that in this film you have shown that the Indian embassy in Kuwait was empty with only one official waiting to leave with the others having left already after the invasion. But isn't it true that Ashok Sengupta remained there from the 24th of August 1990 to the 7th of November, coordinating the evacuation of Indians, helping them to get travel documents, facilitating their journey to Baghdad and from there to Jordan, while many Indian officials did leave? What about those who stayed back?
Arnab,
to help the Indians evacuate.
While making a film, if I had to write the story of what happened in Kuwait.
Can I come in?
Yes, please.
Raja, give me a minute.
Yes, sir.
Raja, give me a minute.
Yes, sir.
Raja,
don't get worked up, Ashok.
Sorry to interrupt.
No,
the film
please.
is yours.
I'm sorry.
Arnab, let us be very clear on 2 simple things. One, the film is not produced by MEA. Secondly, the director is inspired by a situation and has a right to make a film the way he wants to make. It's a fictional film. It's not a documentary. So if it would have been a documentary film, then these questions would have been arisen. If a director is inspired by a situation, he has a complete full right by creating those kind of characters, by creating those kind of scenes which will inspire the country, the nation to by such kind of an incident.
No, but why are you? But Ashok, listen. Listen here. Listen, Ashok, let me give you one more example, Ashok ji. We are getting a response. Actually, I'll step back. But what I'd simply say to you, there is going to be a debate. Because, for example, why should we be surprised when the makers of Zero Dark 30, another movie based on real events, was criticized because it overstated the role of torture of Al-Qaeda suspects in the lead up to the killing of Osama bin Laden? These are debates which have happened. You are a filmmaker. Mayank's a filmmaker. You should understand why the debates happen.
Argo was also debated. I mean, the Americans said
yes, Argo was debated. Argo was debated.
It's his right. It's his right. He's inspired people. Today, nobody knew about talking about this issue. Yeah. It's because of
that point is also true.
That people have started talking.
No. One second.
And Arnab, you saw two foreign ambassadors fighting amongst themselves that who was responsible for it. How can Raja make a film as per the foreign ambassadors' ideas and scripts? So I think he has done a good job by getting into and inspiring the nation.
Now Ambassador Harish Dogra wanted to come in.
I think I need to
No, one second. Ambassador Harish Dogra needs to come into the debate, and go ahead, Ambassador, go ahead. I'll come to you. No, Ambassador Dogra, please.
Arnab, I want to tell you that the embassy in Kuwait was not evacuated, or the people did not leave after Saddam Hussein declared that Kuwait was the 19th province. He gave every embassy time till the 22nd of August to wind up and leave. The embassy personnel from Kuwait shifted to the consulate in Basra.
Okay, I agree with you if that's the truth. Maybe that's the truth, but what's the point?
Indian embassy in Kuwait, Camp Basra.
Why are you
Okay, what's the point?
seriously?
I'm not able to get the point.
It's not a documentary film.
Kuwait,
Thank you.
It's not a documentary film.
Exactly.
To arrange their travel documents.
It's not a documentary film. Why are we getting into the nitty-gritties of it?
Medicine and food.
It's an entertaining film.
Yeah.
On a ship.
It's an entertaining film.
If you are right,
He has entertained people.
Sir, all I'm
He has
Ambassador, sir,
entertained
I think
people.
you may be right.
Raja.
Sir, your point may be true. Maybe that's your opinion. Maybe that's what happened. But like all filmmakers, this is not a documentary film. It's a film that's meant to get the country to wake up to see something. I have taken liberties. I don't know whether exactly. I am not stating fact.
And you have a right to do that.
One second, Raja, listen. Raja, listen to Ambassador Dogra. One second. Raja, one second. Listen to Ambassador Dogra. No, only Ambassador Dogra is countering him here. Ambassador Dogra is countering him here.
Yes, sir.
1 second, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Raja, I am not debating your right to take creative liberty, but when you make a historical film, your Bollywood with its reach and the impression it leaves in the minds of people, it becomes another version of history. And that is where I have objection to what has been portrayed in the film.
There are opinions, sir. There are let me.
He's not saying it.
Only Raja. There are opinions. There are counter opinions. On all the events that have happened. I'm willing to listen to all of those opinions, and then I take a dramatic call on what works for the film. Whatever you are saying may be the absolute truth, may not be, but I have a counter opinion to that which I've heard. I've interviewed over 250 people who were evacuated. That's how I built this story, because there was very little documented fact. The idea of the film, once again I come to, is for us...
Indian embassy official from the Kuwait embassy.
Sorry? I have interviewed whoever I could interview, and that's how I came up with the story. The idea of the film, once again, I think we are missing the point. The idea of the film is to get a generation of Indians to feel good about being Indian again, to feel patriotic, to feel a sense of achievement, to feel that this country's government has done for its people what what no other country has done. That is the idea of it. The nitty-gritty of whether the ship turned left or turned right, the person walked in from
Raja, tell me honestly.
Not what the film's
tell me
about.
honestly. Okay, one second. Let's go to the nub of the issue. Let's go to the nub of the issue. Films. 1 second, Ashok Pandit realized here. You see, this is not Marvel Comics. If you're creating a superhero, you must understand there's a certain context. Yeah. No, 1 second. The point is this. We all know, without the superhero in the film, this film may not have been the commercial success that it has become. So the film becomes...
Arnab, I think the storytelling...
One second. Just, Raja, let me complete. Would a more nuanced, historically more accurate representation with grey and black and white of what happened...
Who decides what's accurate? Who decides what's accurate? I have enough people who
there are protagonists.
Arnab, let me take this let me take this to where it is.
Your argument.
There is opinion and there's counter opinion. There is no fact here. Let's not call opinion fact. Secondly, I can tell you there are enough people out there who will say that what they've seen in the film is exactly what happened. I'm not denying. I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to fight either arguments. I am here to say that the idea of the film and filmmakers should be allowed to. And what is happening in this debate is you're scaring filmmakers away from telling stories about India's successes. This is the problem with this debate.
You've got to decide one thing, Raja. You must be clear on this. That if you are making a fictional account, then you say it's a completely fictional account.
It is not a completely fictional account.
One second. You can't. One second. See what's happening.
No, it is not.
Listen to the argument. What I'm saying is, suppose you take 3 or 4 or 5 strands from what you have heard anecdotally, right? and you pick it up and you say, I think this works. You would say that this works for the audience
simplifying,
because this
you're
may be what
simplifying the process,
this may be, no, 1 second, Raja, listen.
Yeah.
This may be what the audience would like to see. The audience would like to believe
I wish
that
we
there
made
is a
films like
Katyal,
that.
there's
That's
an
not how
Indian
films are made.
superhero. But then you can't say this is based on real events.
It is based on true events. Nobody can deny the fact that 170,000 people were airlifted, 488 flights flew into Jordan, and it was the greatest evacuation in the history of the world. One. Secondly, nobody can deny that Mr. Sunny Matthews was involved in keeping
I have
them
written
safe.
5, 6, 10 years ago.
The incident has inspired him.
Yes,
The
exactly.
incident has inspired him.
Thank you, Ashok ji.
Let us say yes to it.
Yeah.
It's an incident.
So
which
suppose you were to say, Ashok Pandit, Ashok Pandit, listen, Ashok Pandit, I have a question for you. Hear me. You are a very passionate crusader for the rights of Kashmiri Pandits. Suppose somebody were to make a film on the events that led to the forced exile and exodus of Kashmiri Pandits from the valley, Ashok Pandit, and said that this had nothing to do with the kind of threats that the Kashmiri Pandit community was receiving at that point of time. And as far as the representation, they will say it is based on what happened in the late 80s and 1990. But you cannot question our artistic liberty if we say this has nothing to do with all the terrorist groups giving threats. One version which you are hearing is that it was not. Would you as a Kashmiri Pandit, Ashok Pandit, accept that as the creative liberty which can be allowed for that particular event? Be honest. Would you allow it? Or would you protest?
I'm telling you, it is a wrong comparison. It is a wrong simile. It's a wrong comparison.
That's a moment in history, and so is this.
If a filmmaker feels that has happened, and if he makes a film, I can argue with him. But I can't take away his right of making a film the way he wants to make a film.
One sec. We preface this by saying.
I'm making a film on Gandhi, my exodus is history. My exodus is a tragedy which has occurred, which people know about it. If I'm making a film on Gandhi, I cannot make a fun of this. There's a difference between making a film.
You have the right. You have the right,
Ashok. There is a difference of making a film on
the right of a filmmaker is not being questioned. It's only the debate around it. Okay, so it's the right. Nobody can take away the right. I would like to give Ambassador Fabian a last word on this debate. 1 second, Ambassador.
Well, thank you, Arnab. I do applaud Mr. Menon's idea of boosting of patriotism. But patriotism should be based on correct knowledge. And there was no need for him to have portrayed the Ministry of External Affairs.
I think the Ministry of External Affairs is portrayed in the best possible way. I think there's more positivity towards it than... but there's more positivity towards the Ministry of External Affairs after this film than there ever was before.
MEA should not get imitated.
There is more. People are feeling good about India. They're feeling that the Ministry of External will take care of them. You know, we're talking about nitty-gritty. We're talking about little things. I think that we are on the same side.
Raja, let him
You portrayed External Affairs.
Airlift is India's pride.
Exactly.
I'm proud to be an Indian, and that's what the film says.
The External Affairs Ministry and the embassies were portrayed in a manner which was sort of a caricature. And now for them to say that we have done a great job, there is a contradiction.
There is no contradiction. There is absolutely no contradiction.
Let me make the final point.
I could have made a 6-hour film where I showed everybody and all the work that they did.
Mr. Menon has full liberty when it comes to a fictionalized character.
Yeah.
But he does not have full liberty when he deals with the Ministry of External Affairs or embassies or even Air India, whom he insulted by saying that, you know, the
Mr. Michael Mascarenhas
is on record
telling me, thanking me for bringing this up.
I think that's your sense of proportion.
Okay.
Air India is extremely proud to be part of this film, and they feel vindicated that finally someone told their story. So I don't think...
I thank you all. I thank you all for joining me on debate number 2 this evening on the Newshour tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And once again I say, thank you to the MEA for doing what they did. We portrayed them in the right light, and I think we should be proud of this event. And we should go in there.
They disagree with you, Raja. They disagree with you, Raja, and politely so. I thank you all once again.
And he didn't even want to talk to MEA.
Okay, thank you. Start the conversation now. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much.